Later.
Hey everybody. Just real quick, just wanting to drop in, maybe say something real fast. Let me explain what happened. So I just got finished watching Dave Chappelle's latest comedy show called The Closer on Netflix. And it was okay. It was pretty good. But the thing that caught my attention is the end. And I rarely watch the credits at the end, but I watched these. And for his credits, he had a lot of pictures of himself with various stars in Hollywood. You see he was with Bill Murray, Joe Rogan, Mos Def, Wu-Tang Clan, like all the famous people who were comedians, actors, actresses, political people. Dave Chappelle's been with them all. And no matter how serious they are, he's there just smiling, and he's just a part of everything. So I got to thinking, like, what it was like to meet people that have done such great things. Meet people who have performed in front of thousands of people at a time, people who's brokered deals that most could even take a forever to even dream of. People that are known across the world. And these are his friends. And as I start to think what that was like, I realized that I do that. I meet people like that every day. Because they don't put it out there into the world for everyone to see does not mean they're not special. And that's what I'm getting to. Everyone that you meet has a story to tell. Everyone has a story to tell. You have a story to tell, because I know I have one. So what I want to do is maybe take some time out. Let me talk to you. Let me figure out what's going on in your life. Tell me what you're good at. What things do you value? I want to hear it. Let me know. So drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you're good at, maybe what you value, and who knows, we probably can get on and talk about this thing. We can record something and then you get to talk all about what you're good at and what is like the tops to you. Believe me, I'm a good listener and I ask pretty good questions too. So, hey, give me a shot. So y'all go down there. Let me know what you're good at. Let me know what you are interested in, and let's see what we can do. So anyway, I'm out, y'all. Later.
Hey, everybody. So glad to be here today. Thank you all for tuning in and taking this time out of your busy Sunday, your relaxing Sunday, the time that you usually spend with your family. You're choosing to spend it with us. And for that, we definitely thank you. Now, today is going to be a special day because we have a guest that is one of the most special people in the whole wide world. And for those who know him, you know what I mean. You know, this is Tim Patterson. You know, he's a teacher, a writer, an artist. Look behind him. He did all that on his walls. A musician. Yeah, he's on SoundCloud. And a husband. Lovely wife named Sarah. So Tim, what's going on, man?
Simone, thanks so much for having me.
I can't hear you.
Oh, no, you can't hear me.
Try it again.
My bro.
Difficulties. I still don't hear you. Hey,
how about now, dude? How about now?
It's just me.
Is this better?
I can't hear him. Put something down. If you can hear him, then, you know, just let me know. Or is it me? Maybe it's me. Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, sir.
Because I faded out the sound. My fault, y'all. You know, we struggle streaming over here. We're trying to make it happen. But that's okay because we are here. We're working. Everybody make mistakes. I make them all the time. So anyway, what's happening, Tim Patterson?
My man, Simone, dude. I was just so happy that you said, hey, man, let's talk about this book. I mean, we've been talking about it for 3.5, 4 years anyway. Yeah. So this is not anything abnormal or ultra special, except everybody else gets to kind of like listen in on us talking about it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, a beautiful day in Savannah, hanging out with my best. So no complaints over here.
I hear that. So we have a lot of people watching, a lot of friends, a lot of family, people that's interested in the book. So here is the deal. Yep. See, Kurt said I can hear. Yep. I just couldn't, Kurt.
My man, Kurt, dude, thanks for tuning in.
It was all on me, brother. It was all on me.
Last time it was me. So I was like, okay, got to be ultra prepared this time.
You know it, but you know, make mistakes all the time, but we come back from that.
Always.
So let's jump in it, man. Let's jump into it. Well, no, before we do that, if you have any questions that you would like to ask or just any comments, all you have to do is leave them down there. I'll catch them. We'll throw them up on the screen. We can answer the questions. Or if you want to say, hey, you're doing a good job, whatever you like, we'll do it. So all you have to do is throw the comment down there. Now let's get in it. So Tim,
yep.
Tell me this. Tell everyone about the project, the book. What is it?
Whew. All right. So I sent Simone a list of questions and he's like, these are great, but I'm just going to go and wing it just like we normally do. And I was like, all right, sounds great. That's a loaded question, which I love though. So like we were talking a little bit before backstage, the book really just started out as a lesson that I was teaching my first year at TIMA, Tybee Island Maritime Academy with you. So for those of you that don't know, Simone and I were co-teachers 4 years ago, a little less than 4 years ago, when we first moved to Savannah, Sarah and I. And we were doing this fiction unit. And it was late in the year. The kids were really getting into writing. And usually with most units, I write alongside them. So we were making up stories, coming up with characters and developing themes. And that was kind of the start of the Apple from Outer Space. It started off as just like a very short story, maybe 15 pages or so. The apple being a little bit of me. That was what I was trying to teach the kids. Put yourself into your characters like many authors do. And then it kind of just stayed there for a year or so. And during the pandemic, I found myself writing again a lot for many different reasons. And once you build that momentum and that train starts moving, you keep adding, coal to the fire. It's hard to stop it. So that 15-page short story turned into a 237, which is now what it is currently, version of itself. So yeah, that's the story as a whole, I guess, just where it came from.
Well,
it's a talking, walking apple that is basically me as a person, right. I guess.
So, well, I'll tell the people this because I was there.
Yeah, you were.
And
wait. What was your story about? Because I remember you were writing one too.
I don't even remember because mine didn't turn into a whole book. It just turned into. It turned into a paper ball that I could shoot in the trash can from across the room. That's what mine turned into. But here's the thing. So people that's listening, I was there for the whole thing. And let me tell you this. This man who we are talking to today is, like I said, he's a writer and a teacher. He's a writing teacher. And this was the first time ever in my entire life where I saw students be excited about writing. So excited until when recess time came, they said, no, Mr. Hicks, Mr. P, I want to stay in and write my story.
Yeah, we'd be like, no, go outside.
They want to stay in, they want to write. Or can I go outside and write outside? Well, of course you can. Of course you can. I'll give them the club horn for that. They can definitely do that. Now, let's go here. You said that the apple was you. How is that apple you? Like, what characteristics from yourself did you put or bake into the apple?
Good one. Yeah, so the apple on the outside is extremely just energetic and joyful, positive. Other beings in his universe kind of feed off his energy. He's charismatic and humble. And that's pretty much who I am during the school day, amongst other family and things like that. I just try to be present and listen and be open-minded. And I try to teach my students that too, as we both do. But on the inside, behind the curtains, there's this hidden Mr. P or Tim that's kind of anxious, a little, a perfectionist, an overthinker, trying to control a little bit too much instead of just letting things be. So the apple at its core is kind of me on the outside when he's around others. Yeah. But on the inside, behind the scenes, and what you find out in the story is when he's kind of alone or with his close friend or friends, he kind of opens himself up a little bit and admits his struggles and works through those just like I do behind the scenes. So that's kind of, and I'm a little bit in every character as people will discover once they read it, but that's kind of me, straight from the tree. That's not that great.
So this is going to be
that didn't work.
This is going to be the pun Olympics. That's what this is going to be. So I have to come up with another one to match you.
We'll never compare to my in-laws, the Simpsons. They are the pun masters. There's even like multiple puns in the family text chain today that I can't even keep up with.
Oh my god.
So we'll try though. I'm on board. I'm on board.
Now, you said something very interesting. And you talked about momentum, and you and I had this conversation about that. There we go. Yes, Apple Man.
That's my girl Renee, my cousin, who's also just my mentor in the process too. Thanks, Renee, for tuning in.
Very good. Now, Denise says she wished she had a teacher that fun when I was in school. Definitely, it's different working with Mr. P because he has this energy that infects you, and what's bad is that you don't even know that you're infected with it. It's like, do zombies know that they're zombies? No, they're just there. So let's look at some of these comments, then we're gonna roll on with the next question. GB's too easy. Say, hey, Mr. P.
Something tells me that's my man Greg from school. I could be wrong though.
All right, David Patterson. Awesome. When is the book out?
Oh man. Yeah.
Oh, we'll save that one for the end. Hold on.
There we go. There we go. Good save. Good save.
So, but this is what I was going to ask you. We've had conversations about this, and you said this. You talked about momentum and building momentum.
Yeah.
Now, how long did it take for you to get to this point today? And what was the momentum? Like, what things kept you going and built that momentum with you?
Wow. Yeah. So I think everybody can agree that we have seasons in life. We have ups and downs, peaks and valleys. Some seasons are extremely creative. Other seasons might be a little bit more spiritual or physical, like working out and doing things like that. And one thing Simone and I always talked about is having that perfect trifecta of mental, physical, and spiritual kind of aligning. Most of the writing came for the story during the pandemic when I was teaching from home. That was as for many people, for many different reasons, losing loved ones, being sick, or just not being able to be with the ones that you love. That was a really tough season for me. I think even though I like my time to myself, being out and being social and being able to work with kids, hands-on, not just virtually, gave me a lot of energy. And it gave me a lot of just joy. And so when that was kind of shut off and I was at home a lot by myself, there were perks, but I think I just got into a routine where it was just day in and day out was the same thing. And I was going through a lot mentally too. And I had actually hurt myself physically. I hurt my back trimming my palm tree. And I was laid up for like 2 weeks and I was just miserable. And I was texting my brother trying to get back stretch, things to do to get me back on my feet. And I think I wasn't feeling like doing art. I also like to write music. I wasn't finding that joy. I had just put out an album with my buddy Mark from Colorado. And so that kind of part of me was met, and I put that out. And I think I just opened up this story one day. I can't remember. And I just reread it and I was like, time to continue it. And so I kind of picked up where it left off and I was like, what's going to happen to the apple now? He just kind of rescued the day of this small adventure. And because I was going through a lot, I was like, let's take everything that he loves away from him, just like me. And I just put this apple on this roller coaster of a journey that I was going through, metaphorically, in different universes and things like that. But that was my kind of way to write about what I was going through. So a lot of it was written during the pandemic. And then after we went back to school, I kind of been just revising, bringing in my cousin Renee and bringing in a couple other people like my friend Philip to just look it over and tell me, I think I have something. I thought it was pretty cool. So that's what kind of brings me today is that I'm done writing. Like I handed it off, it's getting edited and I'm moving into looking for publishers and got my artists on it. And I've did everything I could, I think, on it. So I'm really excited about it. It's pretty cool. I've never done anything like this before. It's kind of fun.
Well, someone has to do it. And I know when we spoke before, we would talk about momentum and how we have to, it's mass times velocity. Mass is what you do. Velocity is how often you do it. So you either have to increase what you do or you have to do it more often. And it looks like you did both.
Yeah, building that habit. We didn't have to log in on our classrooms till 9 a.m. So Sarah's up, my wife Sarah's up at 5:30. That means I'm up at 5:30. And my brain is just like on. As soon as I wake up, it's going. So I use that time, an hour, 2 hours every morning to just be in that story, which, I look back and I was very grateful that I had that opportunity to spend every morning of every week to just start progressing that story. And that's the momentum right there. It's just that time in the morning, building that habit of writing. And I think that's the one thing that I never realized. I'm like, how do people write these long stories? Just a little bit by little bit by little bit. And that's kind of what I picked up from this adventure of writing this novel.
Awesome. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at some of the comments we have. Steve,
Yay.
So excited.
My bro, Steve, bro.
Now, GB's too easy.
I want to know who that is. Who is that?
Well,
who is that?
Hold on. He said, Mr. P, it's your student.
Is it the Greg? Is it Greg?
OMG.
G Money?
And then he said, Mr. P. So he likes what you're saying. You're saying a lot of good things there. A lot of good stuff. Okay.
Love my
now
students.
let's start talking about the book itself. Now, we know about the apple, but what are some of the other characters in that book? What the other important characters? Because you don't want to reveal everything, but what are some of the other important characters in the book, and what do they mean to you?
Wow. So I was going to talk about Dr. Paulson first because that was in the viral videos. Dr. Paulson and Dr. Hendrick, two scientists on board this space vessel. But the two characters I love the most, and I'm not going to go into details kind of like how they play into the plot, but they were based on characters I came up with my buddy, Brian Warner, who I've known since third grade. We went to elementary school together. We went to college together. He's my man. We can just make up stories and adventures off the top of our heads. So I was in Chicago a couple years ago, and we're just having fun, drawing characters and just making up stories. And we came up with this character named Gloppy. And Gloppy is basically just this puddle of slime that like kind of moves and shifts and is super cute. Gloppy, like he is just, or I would say it's kind of like an it being is aware, but always positive. Gloppy's outlook on life is just one moment to the next. The small joys are the best. Nothing can bring Gloppy down. And we paired Gloppy up with this, we called it the landlord. And this landlord character was the grumpiest person ever. He was just nasty and mean and slept a lot. And Gloppy would just come into the landlord's apartment and kind of be like, "Hey man, what are you doing today? You wanna go fishing?" "No, get out of my house. Leave me alone, Gloppy. I'm trying to sleep." Well, do you want to go fishing later? I'll catch you some stuff. And it was just like the landlord could be so mean to Gloppy, and it didn't matter. Gloppy was just happy and just so grateful to be alive. And so I thought it would be cool to include those two characters in some sort of way into the story because they're polar opposites. You know, you have somebody that's always negative. They got maybe some things that happened to them in their past that made them who they are. And they can't get out of that funk. And then you have this innocent, cute creature that is super annoying, but also just, you kind of want to be that creature. Like, I just wish I could float through life and just be positive all the time. And the little things don't get to you. You don't need to go on adventures that find joy. You can go dig in the trash and find a can and play with it. Kind of like, as a kid, you could just keep yourself occupied outside in the yard or with boxes. You can make boxes into castles and do all these little things. So there's two characters in the books that the apple meets, and it's kind of those two versions of those. And it really kind of makes the apple think about his own self and where he falls in with those characters and whether to befriend them or not. And so, yeah, they're just fun characters. And Gloppy is just, that voice is just always in my head. Like, "Hey man, hey, it's okay. Life's good. Yeah, woo." Like,
Let's go.
Just, yeah, that's it. Just a puddle of slime and just loving life.
But you
doesn't know any better.
One thing that we discovered, through our many travels together and different things we talked about, is that happiness is where you find it. And you have to find the silver lining in every cloud. And that's exactly what that character does. Every single cloud, he finds that silver lining. So I like the fact that you put that message in there. Now, is there any other characters that you're not telling us about yet that you want to let the people know about?
Yeah, it's all right. So this year I did a reading with my students. I kind of did a preview of the first, I would say third of the book with my fifth graders, getting their input, having discussions. And there's the Apple's best friend, who is a computer monitor. The computer monitor because you and I sat down and you actually helped me write some of his dialogue, some of the computer's dialogue. So the computer monitor is the Apple's best friend. They're pretty much inseparable, but they're as opposite as I said in my summary, as tacos and toes. They are stuck together.
Stop.
Yeah.
What was that again? Say that again.
So, all right. So I have to write all these query letters to try and get like agents and stuff. And I had to write the synopsis, and I was trying to think of a way to describe the relationship between this computer monitor and the Apple. Mm-hmm. And the Apple is just like really joyful. It's like a taco. It's just like everybody loves a taco. Right. Tacos are awesome. And I was like, the monitor is like a toe. Like everybody needs their toes. You can't walk around without your toes. But they're not pretty to look at. The monitor's kind of beat up and old, and he's kind of seen a lot of things like toes see. They've been a lot of places, and he's worn out. Like my feet are. Like every day I run, I'm like, they hurt. So I kind of, the monitor and the Apple, they're best friends, but they're also very different, and they kind of rely on each other as friends do. Mm-hmm. So a little bit of that is definitely you, Simone, in that monitor, as we talked about. A little bit of my parents and my grandfather and my grandmother. A lot of these role models in my life, even old teachers, kind of being that voice in your head when you have to make a decision, or if you're going through a hard time, helping to redirect you and kind of get you to focus on what's important. So that's kind of the role of the monitor there. But in the book, the monitor isn't doing so hot. So that kind of plays into some trouble that the Apple gets in when he maybe has to face going through life alone without his friend's advice and without his friend being there. Not saying anything other than that, but when you lose somebody you love and that you rely on, it kind of puts you on a path of self-discovery and figuring out your own purpose and not just hearing what somebody else has to say. And relying on them to make your decision. So the monitor is a kid favorite. They loved him. He's very sarcastic, but at the same time, realistic. And the Apple needs realism because the Apple was a big dreamer. So he needs somebody to kind of balance him out.
Okay. So well, let's look at some of these comments, and then we're going to move into the next thing. So we're going to go back.
Yeah. Simone, thanks again, man. This has been so fun to talk about this. A lot of this I just keep to myself. And Sarah will be listening to me talk to myself up here writing away. And she's like, what are you talking about?
Hey, Sarah, he's not crazy. He's not crazy. Just a little bit crazy.
Just slightly weird. Yeah.
So this is what we have. Now, Kurt said, who the villains? Any sequels? What you got to say to that?
Oh man. All right. So there's a villain that's hinted about throughout, even in the first chapter or two of this book, which are the giant squid pirates. Giant squid pirates are you don't know too much about them at the beginning of the book, but you know that they're there and that you shouldn't kind of just be drifting through space without being aware of their presence. So, they do anything from maybe ransacking a ship to kidnapping people on board or beings on board. So the giant squid pirates are kind of the main antagonists here, in addition to a couple other small characters that you see throughout. And then the sequel, absolutely. So this is book one called Escape from the Past. And, when I started writing this seriously, I was really thinking about Joseph Campbell and that hero's journey. And that was something I was working on at Tybee too, is really teaching kids about the hero's journey. Luke Skywalker is the first one that comes to mind, Indiana Jones, any trilogy hero. So you got to have your first book, which sets up kind of where your hero's from and the journey they go on. So the second book is going to be insane. So that book is going to be called Fight for the Future. The title's already there. I've started writing it, and it's just going to bring everything that you love about the characters and the journey from the first book. And then just so many other things are going to go down. Like you start to understand where the apple's from and this whole universe in this first book and kind of his journey. But when you get to the second book, the perspective just opens up, and you're done looking through life in this tunnel vision from the apple's perspective, and you see this larger world and kind of where the apple lives and where his role is, and kind of why he's significant, why he's not. So it's just going to explode. Really excited about that. And there's a villain that's kind of hinted at in this book too, that you'll find out more about in the second book as well. So really excited about that. That's why I'm like, I want people to read the first book. I want to start writing the second book. Let's keep this journey going.
So let me ask
my
you
man,
this.
Kurt. Thanks, Kurt.
There we go. Now, here's the thing. You said hero's journey, but not everybody knows what that is. So what is the hero's journey?
Oh, man. So the abridged version is, the hero doesn't know he or she is a hero at first. They are kind of put in a situation. There's a background that plays into who they are and why they're, existing. But the thing that really caught me is that they have to lose everything first. Not every hero in every hero's journey or every epic has to lose something first. But I believe when you strip a hero away from everything that they rely on, like even in the Christian Bale Batman series, right? Mm-hmm. He has to lose everything. Even in that third chapter of this series with Bane, he has to be stripped of everything that he knows as Batman to really find out his true purpose. Even in the new Batman movie, you kind of feel that a little bit happening at the end. So, everybody that knows me knows I love Batman. And I love Batman when he's at his worst, when he's basically dead and he's still moving forward. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of where I really wanted the apple to go in this first part of the hero's journey, is to lose everything, find himself. And then that next chapter is really about using his superpowers. And Simone, we talk about superpowers with kids. He finds a superpower, and it's not a physical, like I'm going to blast lasers out of my eyes superpower, but it's something from within that he's good at, that he finds, helps him survive, helps him help others. And I think that's really what a hero's journey is where you use your superpower then to help others, to save people or to make the world a better place. So he's going to go on that journey. Yep.
That reminds me of like Captain America.
Another great reference. You're just bringing that up because you have that new shield in your backdrop.
but yeah,
Captain
America,
man, yep.
From the 40s, got frozen, a man out of time.
Lost everything he loved. He loved. Yeah.
So here we go. So Timothy Patterson, student, Gloppy is the best.
Yeah. All right, so you're a Gloppy fan. Yes.
Childlike wonder is Gloppy. Miss Renee, thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah, Renee's one of two people that have read the whole book already. So she knows what she's talking about.
Thor O'Neill Gray, gosh, we missed you at the Austin Discovery School.
Shout out to Tora and all my ADS colleagues and former colleagues. Tora was the best. She ran the eco wellness program out there with my buddy Tim when I lived in Austin, and talk about good people, hard workers, and people that knew how to have fun too. The perfect combination of a good person. So shout out Tora. Thank you.
All right.
Miss you guys too.
Mr. Kobe, Desi, love the gloppy voice you did.
My nephew Des. Hey, that's my sister-in-law Kayla too. Shout out.
Okay. Yep, Miss Kayla. Welcome to Savannah. Here we go. Now, Gloppy is a great character. He's my favorite. Oh, there's somebody else who's read Gloppy right now.
Again, my students got the sneak peek this year a little bit, the first third, so they know a little bit about Gloppy.
Tacos repping ATX.
Torchies, yeah.
All right. Hey, it's Amir. So Amir's on.
Amir, what's up, buddy? Hey, I'll see you tomorrow, dude.
Yep. Another one. Hey, Amir. It's Carl.
Oh, that's Carl. Mr. K. Oh, man.
Gave up his secret identity. They shared the live stream with other students so they can see it. Well, look at here. Pam is here. Late, but she here. Thank you for watching. Okay.
My amazing co-teacher, Miss Joyner. Welcome, welcome. And thanks, kids, for not playing Fortnite and for checking me out today. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now,
so
let's
cool.
get into some
Man, I
serious
feel
stuff.
so
We have
blessed,
more
dude.
comments.
So cool.
If you posted a comment, I am going to get to them all, but I needed just a break here so we can transition into this next part. Okay, you ready for this?
No.
I know
Okay,
you're
yes.
not, but it's all right because
here we go.
You got it, bro. You are ready. That's the boom. That's you.
Oh, okay. So are those fireworks? Okay. Yeah.
It was about to be. Okay, now this is what I would like for you to talk about. You and I had a conversation one afternoon a couple months ago, and you were telling me about this section of the book and how, and I don't remember the characters that were involved, but when I start describing it, it's going to come to you, and I want you to talk about it. It was two different races of people, and the people without a certain characteristic had to work in the mines, and they, it had to do with a lot of racial things and a lot of current events. So can you tell the people about that?
Yeah. So, again, I don't want to give too much away. I think there's some type of just joy in reading something for the first time, really not knowing what happens and experiencing that. So I don't want to give too much away, but I created this world that the Apple visits in his past. And in that world, there's a hierarchy system that they've developed where, it's, for kids, I'm thinking my audience is fifth graders through middle school, maybe a little younger, a little older. Definitely a book to read with your kids and definitely a book to talk about even in schools. But there's a society that the Apple kind of goes because there's a missing princess. And so he kind of goes there on a separate mission. And what ends up happening while he's there is there's this feud between two different groups of people that come from the different classes. And they really don't understand each other in this scene. They each have their own motives and they each have their own sort of agenda, to neither's fault, just based on how this world and this society functions. So the Apple kind of finds himself in the middle of this conflict and this argument. And it kind of takes a turn for the worse. And the Apple has to decide kind of how to deal with it. And he makes a decision that's a little out of character for him. But at the same time, he really wants to do what's right. So that's kind of, again, I don't want to give too much away about this society and kind of where it falls into the plot. But I really, growing up in the suburbs of Pittsburgh and having just the opportunity to visit so many cities and live with so many different types of people and work so many different types of jobs and meeting just like a lot of really cool people from different backgrounds, really has humbled me and shown me that, what I see on TV and what I see in the news and kind of how, people talk about one another without knowing one another, has really made me into a person, more of a listener than a speaker, more of a learner than a try to make my opinion heard type of person. And so this is where that idea came from. Some recent events in the news, some injustices happening, made me really think about just what would I do in a situation like that? Because the Apple's me. So I wanted to put myself into a situation that maybe was a little bit hard to deal with or hard to understand and figure out how I would try and help. That's kind of where that idea came from. Great question, man. Yeah, that was something that I went back and forth about a lot and just wanted to write about it, because I thought a lot about that. But I just kept putting into, I know, man. I was like now you're on the spotlight.
Yeah, I know. But yeah. And when you told me that story, when you told me that, I mean, it was so impactful and so many different things happened. And that was it was big. It was really big. And, let me turn this off. There we go. We're back to normal. You're not going to get us today.
I didn't mind it, but yeah, you definitely look at.
You know what? I know who did
that. A lot
that.
smoother now.
I know who did that.
What?
I know who did that.
Who?
The other person in my house who has full control over everything in here. You might not even
Hey, Robin. Hey, Robin.
But what we were talking about though, when you told me how you thought of that idea and how it was all put together and how it related to what was going on and the energy that you had from that, just telling it to me.
Yeah.
Made it worthwhile. That's why I wanted the people to connect to that energy. I mean, it's really impactful. And it's something that I think that kids and adults can read, and it's not so close to home. So it allows you to get another look from a different direction.
Yeah, and when you break things down, even complex social issues, to just the core of empathy, which is a lot in this book, is understanding different people's or different beings' perspectives, whatever hardships they may have been through. That's kind of the main goal of the book is how do we cope with different obstacles in our lives, whether they're personal or other, ones happening in front of us or on the news. How do we process that? What would we do? And I think that's really where I'd like to take my conversations in the classroom is talk about that kind of stuff, and not just, what happened to the character? Why do you think the character did this? It's more of like, what would you do in that situation? How would you handle that? And that's why I think it's also a very rich text. Maybe it's because I've been teaching for 13 years, but to use in the classroom. And because I feel like a lot of the conversations that I had with myself while writing it are also conversations that I had and would want to have with a group of kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I can't say because I know that story, but I know.
Yeah, I kind of want to leave it. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Let it sit. Okay, now that was the heavy question. Now let's move to somebody. We had a few questions in here. Now, Kurt, why do we fall, sir? So that we can learn.
Batman quote. Batman quote. There you go.
I should have said it like this. Why do we fall? So we can pick ourselves back up.
Oh yeah.
There we go. Okay. So
so good.
Here we go. Now, this is a real question. This is a good one. Carl, how did you think of the story? Now, we talked about where it came from and where you started it.
Yeah.
But how did all that stuff connect? Like what? So talk us through that.
Yeah. The story came Carl, great question, man. Dude, we'll talk about this tomorrow too. But the story came out kind of fluidly and naturally. I didn't write the story with an end in mind, even though I kept thinking about possible directions to take it as I was writing. The characters kind of fell into place based on where the story took itself. Like I said, I was just writing it during the pandemic, and every day I kind of just went back at it and was like, all right, so this happened to the apple. What's he going to do next? All right, now he finds himself here. What make it interesting? Obviously, what would make it funny? I love that the combination of humor and deepness and heart and suspense and action. Like, I'm a big movie guy, Carl. You know that. I'm a big comics guy. I like many different genres, sci-fi, you name it. And I think for me, the story just wanted to do everything. I wanted to be an adventure. I wanted to be science fiction. I wanted to be funny. I wanted to be heartfelt. I wanted to be kind of deep and scary at sometimes and suspenseful. But it just unfolded naturally. And as I unfolded it, that first draft, every revision I kept doing, I just kept going back and interweaving the end with the beginning and the middle with the end, and kind of just making everything tie into one another. And as I tell my kids all the time, revision is my favorite part of the writing process. It's where you get to just tweak and eliminate and add. And at some point, like Sarah told me, she's like, you just got to finish. You just got to get it done. And I'm like, yeah, that's true too. And Renee also, she was kind of like there in my ear and on the phone, just be done with it. Hand it off. You don't look at it anymore. And I need that reminder too. So Carl, great question, man. It just came out naturally, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, Carl, we were teaching 5th grade that day. And honestly, I kind of remember it. And we were writing because Mr. P made us write a lot. So we didn't, we as the teachers wrote.
We wrote a lot.
We wrote too, just to keep them encouraged. And I remember when he wrote that. And you know what? I think I wrote about something about Venus, and that it was like a detective story, a mystery story.
Yeah, that's right. That's
I remember
right.
that because they had to write
right.
about outer space things. So that was cool. Now, Amir.
That's right.
How was the apple from outer space made? Now, see, that's a part in the book.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
All right. So if you want to give it to him, go ahead. If not, then you can kind of beat around the bush and say, well, you just had to read the book.
Amir, man, you read the first little part with me in class, man. I can't give that away. There's a little mystery behind that. It kind of sets up book 2 as well. So I'm just going to say, I love you, man. Great question, but my lips are zipped here, bro.
He's going to harass you every day.
That's fine. Every day he comes up to me and he's a boatload of questions from what am I eating for lunch to what am I doing in the afternoon. I love that dude.
Yeah, definitely. So, Barbara Werner, congrats, Tim to Werner. Send their love with.
So Simone, I told you about Brian being my best. And helped me come up with characters for many, many, many years. And that's his mother, Barbara and Steve. They grew up with us in Pittsburgh. Nicholas, his brother, and Catherine and Kat, man, they're just a great family. Thanks for supporting me, y'all.
Oh, yeah. Now, Congress Business, what's up? Mr. P.
Who is that? I don't know who that is. Is that CJ? Who is that?
It's Congress Business. That's all you need
Congress
to know.
Business.
And this is one of my favorite people in the world. 2 of my favorite teachers.
There she is.
You know it. Miss Robin. And look who
the
else.
mind behind the curtain. There you go.
Oh, yeah. Don't turn the lights on me again. All right. Miss Clark in the house. Yo, what's up, Mr. P? This Miss Clark in the house. Hold on.
Yeah, Miss Clark. Yeah.
We'll give you that one.
Man, I am so humbled. Everybody came out. I'm so just excited. Miss Clark, I'll see you tomorrow too.
That's right.
Thanks for coming out.
Miss Johnson, hey, nice to see
Fellow
you.
teacher.
She can't wait to read the book.
I can't wait for everybody to read it too, Faith.
She said,
man,
that was awesome. All right. Robin said, nope, that was my daughter did that. So, she always throwing in something in there.
Oh, yeah. Kayla, what's up?
Okay, now let's go here. This is what the people want to know. Well, first of all, this is better than watching Netflix. Yeah, Carl. Yeah, boy.
It is. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, man. So here we go.
Where can we buy this book? Let's talk. Let's rest right there for a second.
About that.
Where can we buy the book? So let's talk about where the book is now, and then take us to what is the very next step.
Yes, sir. So basically where the book is now, my buddy Philip today just finished the final edit of like minor grammar stuff. So Philip's done. The book has been edited. Everything about the book is done. So basically, where can we buy it? I don't know yet. But where we are in the process is that I am applying for the patent literally after this interview today. Everything is going to be submitted for having a patent on the whole story, the manuscript. So then that's going to be done. My good friend Blake Scott, who did the teaser poster, amazing Savannah-based artist. He's finishing up and working on the cover and some other little things that are going to be additions to the book itself. So those pieces are coming together. He's been amazing to work with. And I'm just so blessed to even have him on the project, having my ideas and my words come to life. I tried to do the art for the book, but man, when you got somebody that's a professional like Blake and he could just knock it out of the park, you give him that opportunity. So he's working on that. So right now, I'm about 90% sure I'm going to self-publish. I've been looking at a couple of different avenues to do that, Amazon being number one, just for the pure sake of getting the book in people's hands, getting the hype going and getting people reading it. So that's kind of where I'm leaning towards. It might be another month or two before that details or before you can actually physically order it. But I'm on it. If I wasn't a full-time teacher, that thing would be done this month. But as you know, when you have a full-time job, whatever you're doing, it's exhausting. So, just making time to keep moving forward, keep that momentum going is kind of where I'm at. But the book is physically done. Everything's there. So we're just starting to reach out and getting people you have to adjust the fonts. There's all these little things I didn't even think about that have to be done before you can go ahead and get it printed and published. But I'm hoping in the next month, there's going to be either a Kickstarter or there's going to be some order forms up so people can pre-order the book. I want to do a pre-order where I get the books shipped here, write a little personal message in them, load you up with some extra little goodies and send them off. So that's kind of what I'm working on next. And my goal is to get it out 2022, whether it's end of summer, early fall. I want it to get in people's hands as soon as possible. So Tor and my Uncle Dave and everybody else has been wondering, I'm working hard on it and it's going to get out this year, guaranteed.
Right.
And you're going to be the first to know. So thank you so much for asking.
Yeah, I know this has been a labor of love. Like we were talking about before the show, that 3 years that it took to take this from conceptualization to where it is now. Coming up with the idea, getting it on paper, battling through several things just to get that done. So it's definitely a labor of love. But learning as I'm doing it. I'm not a writer, so I was kind of learning as I go. No.
Okay, I am a writer now, and I taught writing. But I was winging it, man. I was going at it, just figuring out as I went along. So I think that took me a little while too. So the second book hopefully won't take 3 years because everything's there, and I feel like I learned a lot too.
Charity.
Sorry to interrupt you, bro.
Howerton.
Charity, yeah.
Can't wait
What's
for
up?
the book, Tim.
Man, tell Ryan I said, hey, thanks for tuning in, Charity.
Oh goodness. Hold on, here we go. David, Tim, are you going to get an Apple tattoo, and where?
David, that where will be between you and I. When you get one, we'll get it together, okay? David's my brother-in-law. Maybe it'll be a bro tattoo. I don't know, but I do need to get one, man. Absolutely. Obviously I need to get one. Yeah.
Yeah. When I tell people, like you and I are like the complete opposite, total opposite. And when I tell people that's my brother, because, we've been through thick and thin. We know each other's darkest secrets, hurts and pains.
Yep.
And, when you said tattoo, I thought about that because I don't have any, but you got a whole arm full. So, I mean, it's a little bit different. So,
right, we're like the monitor and the apple, man. That's it. We're the monitor and the apple.
Renee. Oh, see, Renee coming back with the heat. Okay, that's why I love this book so much. So many lessons, morals, and teachings that we all can use to remind us to be kinder to everyone else.
That's it. And she knows. She knows best. She knows.
Okay, I want you to go back to this. Yeah, we're going to keep clapping. All right, Amir, how was Gloppy made? Now, I know you talked about that, but he might have came in late, so give us a quick rundown.
All right, this is kind of cool. Amir, I got you. And Amir knows this too. One of the, locations that the Apple from Outer Space crashes on or lands on is a trash planet. It's a planet in the galaxy that other planets dispose their trash on. It's become, a garbage dump of the universe. And so you can imagine with a lot of different trash substances and toxic elements that who knows what could happen, what radioactivity could occur. So Gloppy kind of just came alive in that specific environment, just became conscious one day. So that's, again, I don't want to give away a lot of why everything happens for what happens or where everybody comes from, but definitely just came alive on that trash planet.
That makes me think, and I know this has lots of lessons and things in it. No matter where you come from, no matter where you think you live, no matter what's happening around you, you can always find a reason to be happy.
Yeah.
You can find something to be thankful for. And that's what I think is going to happen in this book, that
Absolutely.
we can see these things and that we can relate with some of it and find reasons to be happy. Love that.
You know what we say, Simone, find the opportunity in the obstacle. That's it.
That's it.
I mean, that's exactly what happens in this story and what happens with the apple. Mm-hmm.
All right. Robin Hicks said this may have been asked or answered already.
That's a good question.
But what's the earliest age group the apple will resonate with?
So to me, I wrote it to have really strong vocabulary, really high vocabulary, really witty. So there's a lot of words in there that maybe a third grader or a second grader or even a fourth grader might not know. However, with the context that it's given, and even having like a teacher or a parent or an older brother or sister, or, I'm definitely leaning toward getting an audiobook version out, being read to you with intonation and stuff like that, you can still really understand what's happening and truly understand the plot. So my vision was it's a book for all ages. Being able to read it independently with not many errors. I would say middle school to early high school. But there's a lot of themes in there that even a kindergartner that's learning how to get along with friends or siblings that they can pick up on and that they can, talk about with their parents at home, that I feel like would be great too. So as far as independently, I would say 5th grade and above for sure, but you could definitely enjoy it at a younger age too. Yeah, great question, Robin. Thank you. Thank you, Robin.
We talked about the lesson plans. So, I know you had plans on making lesson plans so teachers can use it in the classroom, or homeschool parents can use it with their children, or maybe just a regular parent whose kid need help with reading. You have plans for that. You actually got to test them out on your class so they work. So what's your ideas behind that?
Again, I'm a big dreamer, and I want to use my capabilities of being a teacher, and kind of blend everything together. So the book itself, when I was test running it with my students, I was also using it to teach our reading standards and our writing standards that we have to in Georgia. So I was trying to combine what I had to teach with my actual novel, having vocabulary lists, having discussion questions, having race, a little bit of everything in there. And so one big idea I have is, once I get some free time, maybe this summer, is if I'm getting a good feeling out of the book, or people have started reading it and they're starting to like it, take it that next step and create like almost like a teacher compatible plan book with it. That could be digital. It could be, hands-on. You could print stuff. You could do character analysis studies. You can do whatever you want with it, have it kind of a pick and choose thing. But, as the author and as a writing teacher, a reading teacher myself, creating lesson plans to go along with the book just comes naturally. So why not do that with my own very book? And I believe in it so much that I feel like it has a lot to offer a classroom. So yeah, man, I want to take it there too. I've talked about that with a couple other people as well. But I think that would be so cool if it was just part of classrooms or part of a 5th grade, 6th grade reading curriculum. You talk about the book like you would talk about Maniac McGee or Holes or some of our favorites, The Giver, and like all of those other books that we read when we're in 5th and 6th grade. It could be just a part of that as well.
That'll work.
Yeah, man.
All right. So Sarah says she was laughing out loud at the grocery store listening to this, and she loved the convo between us, as always, because she gets to hear us when we talk.
We talk a lot. Yeah. So true.
All right. Let me enjoy this masterpiece from Carl. Now, right here, Valerie.
Carl is a big reader too, man. That dude's always reading. So I got you, man. I got you, Carl.
Can't wait, from Miss Valerie. We are so proud of you. Love from the borough. Now, I might not have said that right. Y'all, excuse me. I'm from the seaport, from Savannah, not from that place.
All right, sound it out. How do you think it sounds?
Like Pittsburgh.
Berg, yeah, from the Berg.
But y'all just spell stuff right.
That's my lovely mother. You know, my dad's listening to, my grandma's listening, the Berg.
Oh, yeah.
And my mom would be the first to tell you that I've been creating characters since I've been I don't know, kindergarten. So, all right, quick backstory. One of the first characters I ever created was named Thumbnail. And my mom is probably laughing right now because she still has it, like little comics. But Thumbnail was just my thumb, like a drawing of my thumb with a little cape. And he would go on adventures and like face like an evil eyeball or combat like a stuffed nose. It was just like the silliest stuff. So I've been doing this for a while. It's not like I just started creating characters.
Kurt say the tattoo on your apple bottoms.
Now, Kurt and I actually got tattoos together once. Him and I both got a shamrock in Austin together.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Kurt, if you're in, man, I'm in. Let's do it again.
All right. Big Carl.
See you in a month, man.
Why not make an essay on the apple from outer space? But I guess it's too late because, you know, they got testing tomorrow.
It's never too late, Carl. You actually want to write another essay?
Is this a chapter book or a graphic novel? Oh, yeah, let's go there.
It's great. I might have to pull this up again because I forget exactly how many chapters. So it is a chapter book. There's a prologue and I believe 34 chapters right now. 230 some pages, you know, kind of evolving still a little bit depending on like the introduction and stuff. But it's definitely a chapter book. There'll be pictures in there as well. Not many like a graphic novel, but one vision I have too is after I complete this series, my artist Blake Scott and I have been talking a lot about possibly doing like, you know, like Dogman's out there. You got Diary of a Wimpy Kid. You got even like some of the kid version graphic novels that I would love to do with the Apple at a lower reading level, like first grade through fourth or fifth, you know, and doing more pictures of different adventures from his past or future. So like these shorter stories with a lot more art. A lot of kids love those books, and I definitely want to get into that as well. And again, if anybody's listening, the Apple would love a TV show. It would be perfect. So I would love to write it. I've already did. So yeah, but right now it's a novel. It's a chapter book, but there's many iterations that are still kind of brewing up here that I would love to pursue. Yep.
Wonderful. Okay, so as we round this thing out, getting close to the end. Future plans. Yeah. I know we talked about a few things during this interview, but what are some other things that you have planned, not necessarily related to the Apple from outer space? It can be, but where is Mr. P going from here? Where will he be?
Where will I be? We always talk about that. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? And then, you know, as we talk, then you set yourself up to be there and you go on that journey. So, right now, I have an awesome opportunity coming up in the city of Savannah, working on a giant mural by the new stadium, the Enmark Arena, with a bunch of great artists. So we're in line to be working on a big mural out there, a pathway mural called Savannahland. And so I'm really excited to get going on that with a bunch of my new friends this year and my old friend and good friend Olivia. So that's going to be great from Tima. You know, Olivia. I mean, of course you do. I don't know why I said that. So I got that lined up. Sarah and I are going to go up to Canada for a little bit. I'm going to see some family this summer. And then any spare moment I have when I'm not working in the classroom or working on the house, I'm going to be putting into this book, man. I got to get this out. So that's kind of my summer plans, where I'm going next, and we'll go there. We'll see where it goes.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. You need to talk about this with Carl tomorrow. Can I join in this journey and help you create more characters of this entertainment?
Man, dude. Okay. So Carl, I think it was Wednesday. Carl was drawing. Carl loves to draw and doodle, which I love about him. So he had a break and he had this lined paper out and he was drawing these mini portraits of different kids in the classroom, really small faces with big eyes. And of course, I'm like, Carl, you got to include me on that, man. So he draws me too. And Carl, I might need you in the art department as well, man. He's such a great artist. He's so creative. So we'll have to go there. Yeah, man, I'm in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
I'll enlist your services, bro. No doubt.
Maybe you can encourage Carl to start helping him brainstorm to write his own book.
Yeah. What was the last book he was writing about? He definitely had what's his name in it? There's a famous actor that was like all into like karate, but he had the mullet. What's his name? Texas Walker Ranger. Texas
Chuck
Ranger.
Norris.
Chuck Norris. So he was
Chuck
writing a story about Chuck Norris, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And like fighting ninjas. Great. It's great.
So Carl, bro, get your own book.
Get your own book.
Let's do it.
Don't steal mine.
You're gonna write your own case. Mr. P will help you. I'll help you. You know I'm out on the car ramp. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Now, so Robin said, can't wait to get my Mr. P signed Apple from Outer Space merch. Yeah. Hey, we need to talk about that because we got some t-shirts ready. We can go, all of that. Plus, we need signed copies of the book too, because that's how it is.
Man, you know that.
Now, everybody's favorite informational specialist, Miss Carrie.
Oh, yeah, Miss Tidwell. What's up?
This has been great, y'all. Loved it. Can't wait to get my name on the pre-order list. There we go.
She's our Marvel guru at work. We all three talk about Marvel movies and stuff. Doctor Strange next week, yo. Yeah.
That's right.
Thanks, Miss Tidwell. Thank you.
Life with Brooklyn. This is my teacher. There we go.
Oh, Brooke, what's up?
All right.
Oh, I got my kids watching. This is so cool.
Yeah, definitely. We love it. We support of all people here. Now, we've been on this thing for a while.
I know, man. Yeah,
So
I was like shocked it went this long. This is awesome.
Wrap it up.
Yep.
But listen, man, your story is similar to Rick Riordan. I mean, I told you that.
Yeah,
Rick
we're talking
Riordan
about
is the author of the Percy Jackson series. He was a writing teacher also in middle school.
Yep.
And now he's not a writing teacher. He's just a writer. And I can see where this is happening for you. So I'm going to encourage you, man, to keep on going. Don't stop. Keep the momentum going. Stay encouraged. You have a lot of people behind you. At least 22 people on this stream.
Wow.
All behind you.
Nice.
And just keep it going. So with that, I'm going to give you the last word for this interview. Then I'm going to say my little piece and we're going to call it a day.
Man, thank you, Simone, so much, dude. You have no idea. I mean, I'll definitely praise you all day tomorrow too, but you have no idea how much this means to you, dude. Finally getting on your show, man. I remember when you first started doing this show. Dude, Mr. Rossiter. Oh, wow. Wow, how did you even get here, man?
Because he's always spying on us.
The OG right there. Oh, man.
Oh, man. Go ahead. We'd have to
give
him a shout out.
First, if it wasn't for Mr. Rossiter, you and I would have never been in the same classroom together, and we would not have had all those moments together.
That's true.
So there you go. Mr. Rossiter, I give it up to you, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wow. All right.
But what you got, man? Go ahead.
Wow. Well, just last word. Dude, nothing but gratitude. Thank you for everyone for coming on and listening to me talk about my book. Again, it's been just me in my own head for a very long time. And I'm so grateful that everybody got to hear a little bit about just where the ideas came from, what the book is about. It's not just a goofy apple roaming outer space, but there's some tragedy in there. There's some heart, there's some humor. And I hope that it gets out to everybody sooner than later. And I hope that everybody loves it, ends up loving it as much as I do. It's rare that I put out something that I really, really love. And this is something that I just love. I'll just go in and read it by myself sometimes and just enjoy it. So I'm really excited for everybody to do that. And thanks again for coming out. Simone, thanks again for having me. Thanks. Shout out to Renee and Philip and Blake, my family and friends, and all of my students for just supporting me and helping me out along this journey. I couldn't do it without any of you. So I appreciate you all. Thanks so much.
Okay, we've come to the end. Now, this is the very first episode. Thank you all for tuning in to Let's Talk About You, where you can tell your story. And like I said in the beginning, everyone has a story. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be special in any absurd way. You just have to be you. And if you want to talk about you, let me know. You can come on the show. We can talk about you. We can talk about what you're passionate about. We can talk about what you're interested in, what kind of job you do. We can talk about your family, whatever you want. Just shoot me an email, drop me a link, do a text, anything. And we can talk about it because it's all about you. So with that, I'm going to bid you all adieu. Everybody stay blessed. And remember that I love you and God loves you. So everybody have a blessed day.